away. That's why I'm done with the slow start thing. It's not the offense's fault. They scored their first drive. They didn't get the ball.
But they needed to score on that drive, I think. If your defense goes out there for another 10-minute drive, woo.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I mean, who knows what could have happened after that.
Yeah. Definitely had to get some points there, but I think there is still some unnecessary harping on the fact that it just so happened to be the second quarter because they got the ball back with less than 5 minutes left in the first.
Yeah, and they were moving the ball.
They were moving the ball. And the Steve holding call that derailed the drive was a bad call.
And that was what? That was like a minute something left in the quarter.
Yeah.
They had a chance.
Yeah. I mean, they scored the first time they touched the ball.
It's so sad because I'm watching it. I'm like, oh, the clock's going to run out. And it's not really running out on them.
Right. You're walking away from a 37-17 win over the Bengals, and somehow you're still thinking that the issue is that the first quarter points. They came out, their first offensive possession. They finally got points. I think that's the first time this season, is it not?
It is. So they go right down the field.
Massive improvement.
It's not Kellen Moore, Jalen Hurts, Nick Sirianni, or any of their guys' fault that the Bengals had the ball on a 17-play drive where they go 5 for 5 for third down. You notice as soon as they started giving the Eagles offense more opportunities, they were scoring. They weren't getting the ball early. They didn't get the ball.
5-2.
5-2.
To find anything to complain about from that game is insane to me.
Well, let's go back to the text messages. They started off very positive.
They started off very positive, but we did start to get a couple of negative ones, so I am going to read that. Now, Marty says, why are you guys getting all excited about the Eagles? They still don't have any chance of making the Super Bowl. That's what it's all about.
Well, hold on.
Why would you say that?
How do you know they have no chance?
You can't say that they have no chance. Just because you think that they are not a Super Bowl team does not mean that they legitimately have no chance.
But no, I know what they're looking at. They're looking at Detroit, and Detroit's scoring at will right now.
Right now.
How do you know that the Eagles don't shut a team like that down?
Right. They don't play. They won't see each other till the postseason.
That's just weak.
So fine if Detroit's the favorite and the Chiefs are the favorite. What, you don't play the games?
The Niners won. They don't look very good.
Right. They beat Dallas.
Cowboys look like garbage.
Right. Like, what are you talking about? Like, see, to me, if the team's going out there and playing consistent ball, they're undefeated with A.J. Brown. Like, they're undefeated with A.J. Brown.
Yes.
You saw how they lost Atlanta by just a fingertip. If you look at it, they had one stinker so far this season. They've been in every game. If you're in every game, you can win every game. You got to be in the games to win them. They've been in all but one of the games. And that one game they were out of it, they had no A.J. Brown, no Devontae Smith, and Lane Johnson, which is kind of a big deal, if we're going to be fair. So I don't understand that part. You, sir, sounds to me like a person that probably shouldn't watch football. He should probably wait till January to watch.
I agree, because if you why do you watch the season then? If you think that they're not going to the Super Bowl and that's all that matters, then why are you watching the season?
Why watch it October?
There's a grouping of people that are in this for every sport now. There's I think the biggest group right now is the Sixers.
Yep.
I think that group does okay, regular season, schmegular season. That's the way they look at it. I think baseball has proven to kind of started going. That grouping's getting bigger too.
Yep.
And now football's going to have it too. They only play 17 stinking games.
Right. I can't take a once a week sport where they won 3 in a row now, 4 or 5 and the last 3, the defense has been very good. The offense put up 37. They could have picked the score against the Giants. Now watch the Steelers tonight. I think the Steelers are going to beat the Giants. I don't know if they're going to be able to pick their score the way the Eagles could have. The Eagles chose to score only 28. They took everybody out. That Bengals scored 17 points against that same defense. The Eagles scored 28 and took everybody out the game.
Yeah.
So I'm not seeing what that texter's seeing.
Well, now this text is kind of funny because they say no negativity from me. However, must get that first quarter slow start figured out.
That is negativity.
Very impressive win on all phases.
But they didn't have a slow start.
What are they supposed to do?
First time they touched it.
They get the ball with 5 minutes left. They're supposed to run a 2-minute offense, so they score a touchdown before.
They just went down the field and ran their offense. And everybody says give Saquon the ball, which is the right thing. How you going to give Saquon the ball?
And also want a fast start.
Right, unless he breaks off a 30-yarder, it's going to take time to get down the field if you're running the ball. because you're not always going to get 20 and 30-yard chunks through the run.
I think we're so focused on the wrong things. I think once you hear a stat like the Eagles are the only team in the NFL to not have first quarter points, then it becomes hyper fixated on everyone's mind. Like, how are the Eagles the only team not to do this? This must mean that they are a bad team if they are the only ones that can't get the first quarter points.
Perhaps you got to watch the games. If you watched the game yesterday, they didn't score the first quarter because of the defense, not because of the offense.
Yes.
The offense was moving the ball fine.
And they still scored on the first possession.
And they still scored on their first drive. If that's an 8-minute drive rather than a 10-minute drive, or if they do what's designed is bend but don't break, and they hold the Bengals when they get to like the 20-yard line to a field goal, the Eagles would have scored in the first quarter. But since the drive went north of 10 minutes, what are they supposed to do?
What are you supposed to do?
You just go down the field and score. That's what they did.
I don't know.
Unreal.
I just don't know.
Now, here's the thing. If they had went 3 and out, then at least, and they still scored 37 points, at least then they scored the first time they touched it. It's not their fault that they got the ball with under 5 minutes when they first touched it because the Bengals took more than 10 on their drive. That's not the offense's fault. Like, it just isn't. Jalen Hurts was supposed to go make a tackle to get the ball back. Like,
I don't understand.
what was Kellen Moore supposed to do?
Is it a little strange they haven't scored in the first quarter? Yes, it is. But not in this game. This game, it was handled by the Bengals. Bengals got the ball first. They ran a very methodical first series that went for 10-plus minutes. What are you supposed to do?
Offense couldn't do a damn thing but wait their turn.
That's all.
That's all they could do. Let's get one more there.
Oh, man.
All right. Then this person said the Eagles need to take the opening kickoff instead of deferring. That's why they never score in the first quarter.
So what? Would you just watch that game, respectfully? They scored to end the first half and then scored another touchdown to start the second half. The deferring worked perfectly.
I like when they defer.
This is not the good example for why deferring is wrong. It did exactly what it was designed to do. They scored last in the first half. They scored first in the second half. That's why they defer. And why do you care about the first quarter points if they're going to score 37? If they're going to score 37 a game, I don't care if they ever score in the first quarter. If they're going to go out and score 37.
That's a lot of points.
That's a lot of damn points. I'm sorry. And you know that from watching the game that they scored their first drive. See, this is what bothers me. You're fixating on something that's not fully real. Okay? It's like being mad about somebody's birthday not coming yet, like you can control it. What do you mean? Johnny up the street already turned 12. What are you waiting on? My birthday's in March. Well, wait a minute. Johnny's birthday was October 15th. He's already 12. What are you doing? Waiting. That's what the Eagles offense just had to do. They had to wait. I don't understand this.
There's no other way to look at it. They didn't have a chance to score.
As soon as they got the ball, they scored. They didn't get the ball till less than 5 minutes left in the first quarter.
Well, why didn't they do it in one play, Tyrone?
The Bengals didn't do it in one play. That's why. The Bengals had done it in the first play. The Eagles would have scored in the first quarter.
Why didn't they just air it out?
Because you wanted Saquon to get the ball. They established the run, and then they get big plays. That's the offense. Now we know what they do. They establish the run, they get big plays. They establish the run, they make big plays. That's the offense. We know that now. That's the, quote, identity. Run it with Saquon, get big chunks to your great wide receivers. And even Calcaterra made plays.
Yes, he did.
Get it to your tight ends. He's been playing better. They're going to be okay without Goddard, it looks like, who should be back soon. They didn't put him on the IR. In fact, he should play this week, or they should have put him on the IR. Because if he's going to miss the third one. Anyway, 610-632-0975. Word of the day today, strong. Great effort. We'll talk more about how well they played and how some things you just can't help here on 97.5 The Fanatic, NBC Sports Philadelphia.
Fanatic Sports.